Hi guys, welcome to today's live video. Thanks for joining me. So I want to talk today about stuff that I was writing about in my journal this morning. So when you think about something which is important to you, something that you want to achieve, it can be anything really. Like it might be a new job, or maybe you're planning to run a marathon, or give a presentation in front of maybe 100 people. Basically something that scares you or puts you out of your depth, something that's out of your comfort zone. And you might be doubting your abilities about that thing and think, who am I to think that I can achieve X? And you might even think that you feel like a bit of an impostor. So I was thinking back also as I wrote in my journal, thinking about a situation that happened when I was 19. So I was one of the older ones for my year because my birthday was in September. So I remember 2 weeks after my 19th birthday, I was packing my bags and getting ready to head off to university. So we were getting my bags packed up and getting loaded up in the car. And I remember at the time that it didn't feel quite real. So even as we were driving down the road, down through Scotland and into England, I hadn't quite sunk in that I was going to spend the next 3 years in a new town where I didn't know anyone at university studying. So that itself felt a bit sort of daunting. But we eventually arrived and I got myself settled in. Parents helped me get organised, got to find where everything was in the town, find where the nearest supermarket was so I could get myself all kitted out with the essentials that I need for cooking, washing and everything else. But eventually the time came for my parents to head home. So I remember vividly standing outside the halls of residence, standing holding my bicycle, watching as my parents just drove out of sight. And I just felt numb. It just was the most strange feeling. It was emotions and feelings I never had before. And over the next few days, those emotions and feelings just sort of built up. And I eventually recognised that I was feeling homesick. And just wasn't happy. I was feeling lonely as well. So I thought, I know, I will write a letter home and tell my parents how I feel. So I got some pen and paper out and started writing a letter saying I'm really unhappy, I'm lonely, I'm not enjoying myself, I want to come home. And I remember actually writing about the fact that if I hadn't found a good rowing club in Bedford, I would 100% be heading home. But thankfully I did. But yeah, over the next few days, once my parents received the letter, we were talking on the phone, and my parents didn't say, oh yes, you can come home for the weekend, you'll feel better. I remember her saying, like, you're just going to need to go with it. Just get on with it. Yes, you have these emotions, you're feeling upset and homesick, but yeah, you're just going to need to get on with it. So those were wise words, and I was actually grateful for that. So thinking about that, and a book that I'd read maybe about less than a year ago, but I read it maybe 8 or 10 months ago, and then more again recently, about maybe 4 months ago, I read this book, and it's called Emotional Agility, and it's by Susan David. Get unstuck, embrace change, and thrive in work and life. So Susan talks about, similar to what I was feeling this morning, and you might feel doubts when you're sort of stretching yourself and getting out of your comfort zone, about showing up. So instead of ignoring and trying to make the feelings or emotions you might be having go away, you face them and even maybe give them a name. So the very fact of actually naming how you're feeling, in my case it was feeling homesick, that in itself can actually strip that emotion or feeling of its power. And the other important thing she talks about is not bottling your emotions up. So actually externalizing them and sharing them. That in itself will actually help you move forward. If you bottle your emotions up, that can actually help to block, allowing you to work through those emotions and actually help cause you to hold you back. And that might explode up later. So the next thing she talks about is stepping out, and that's a matter of detaching yourself from these feelings that you might be having and observing them for what they are. So these emotions and thoughts, they are actually just emotions and thoughts, and you just need to see them for what they are. So again, by me writing down how I was feeling in that letter home and then talking about it on the phone with my parents, that actually helped me to externalize these feelings and recognize them for what they were. And then getting that advice from my parents saying, look, you're not going to die here, you're just feeling homesick, you're just going to need to get on with it, help me to work through those emotions. And then the next thing Susan talks about is then moving on. So you've shown up, you've stepped out and detached, and the next thing is moving on. And that's about making small deliberate tweaks to your motivation, your mindset and your habits, all in alignment with your values and your core why. So similar to what I was talking about last week with values, and being in alignment with them and finding out and discovering what your values are can actually build resilience and confidence as you move forward. And I was thinking also, if you're confident about the direction you're taking and you know it's in alignment with your why, yes, you might be stretching yourself and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, going from that new job, that promotion, training for that marathon, and then you might be thinking, oh, who am I to think that I can do this? Doubting your ability, you're out of your comfort zone, and you might have these emotions coming up. If you're confident you're going in the right direction and what you're trying to achieve is something that you know you want to achieve 100% without any doubt, then when you write your emotions down, you externalize them, that in itself can give you more confidence moving forward. So when you're challenging yourself, stepping out of your comfort zone, pushing forward, trying to grow, if it's in alignment with your core values, then that in itself has to give you confidence. Then take the time to write and talk about and externalize your emotions, then you can move forward with confidence. So if I hadn't stayed on at university, if I'd allowed myself to allow my homesickness and unhappiness and loneliness at the time to overwhelm me and maybe decide to go back home, then 9 years down the line, I would not have headed off travelling for 5 years and all those amazing experiences. So who knows, by facing up to your emotions now, what that might lead to in the future, positively wise. So that's really all I wanted to cover this week. So I highly recommend Susan David's book, Emotional Agility. Get unstuck, embrace change, and thrive in work and life. So if you've got any questions or comments about that or about the book, then please leave them in the comments below, and I'll enjoy reading those and answer any questions as best I can. So you can get the paperback of that book or also the Audible book, which is normally the one I go for because you can listen to it on runs and when I'm walking. So again, as always, thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you again next week.